Hi everyone. Uh, hi, are we together? My name is Michael. You can just refer to me as Michael Jerry. And HK already set the foundation for my speech. That was a wonderful session, Ezekiah. Thank you so much. So I'll be taking it on to the next stage, and I'll be speaking on building a career in the blockchain space. But there are some couple of things we might have to like just remind ourselves or set right, when we talk about building a career in the blockchain space. So permit me to create a little bit of illustration, and I'll need your attention at this point in time. All right, so while that is being fixed, let's quickly create the illustration. Yeah, so how many of us here are football fans? You watch football? Please don't raise your hand if you support Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester United, Real Madrid. Yeah, awesome, awesome. So I'll paint a scenario using football, and that will help us. Are we together? I'll paint a scenario using football, and that will help us because we want to move from known to unknown. All right. So here's one thing about football, which I absolutely love. Here in Africa, here in our own part of the world, we pay more attention to the football players. Yeah, we all know Messi, we all know Ronaldo, which is the goat, my own goat. All right. So here's the thing: if you look at the game of football, there is a value chain that is bigger than just the football game. And like I always say, for just one football match to hold, there are people who are responsible at different value chain. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So there are people who are responsible at different value chain. I mean, example are people who are selling the tickets. There are people who must clean the page. There are kit persons. Their responsibility is to ensure that all the kits that you use in a football game is complete. And if you look around, there are all these value chains. I mean, even when you go to a football stadium, you'll notice that we have chefs, we have kitchens, if you follow these hospitality videos online, you get familiar with what I'm saying. Now, this is just for one single football game. If all these things are not in place, the football match cannot hold. There are instances whereby we've had players who collapse on the pitch, and that's when you take you notice there are medical doctors that are on the pitch, there are physiotherapists and a lot of things. Just working all together to make just one football game to go on and exist. There are instances matches are cancelled, and they tell you why, because of a bad weather condition. It's not the football players that are checking. They don't even have the knowledge to read, the weather condition of the of the weather to say the football game should hold or not. So when you come to the blockchain ecosystem, or when you come to the Web3, it's a similar. Now, oftentimes you hear Ethereum, you hear so many projects, you hear things like that, and then our mind is always focused on the coin or the token. But behind it is a project. Ethereum is a project, bigger than everyone. It's a big project. And when you look at it, it tells you that there are a lot of value chain where people must contribute before you can even talk about the token, or you can even talk about the prices of cryptocurrencies going up or down. Now, I've used this football scenario, so I'll always be coming in, to show you about the football scenario. So let's get into it. So blockchain technology has created numerous innovations in various industries, including job opportunities. Now, here's the thing. We all know Web 2, as much as we like to be different from Web 2. One thing Web 2, science and technology, one of the amazing things they did is they brought about innovations. Now, consider Web 3 as innovations also. So it means if I have to climb these stairs in the Web 2 system, the new innovation might be that there is a lift. I just step on the lift and then it takes me up. Now, the point of innovation, it makes things better, it makes things easier. So when you're talking about things like decentralization, when you're talking about things like immutability, privacy, and all those things, consider them to be innovations that are improving on several problems. Now, we're not just focusing on the innovation this time around. We are focusing on who are those that are creating those innovations. And that's what we'll be paying attention to when you talk about, job opportunities in the blockchain space. So he goes on to tell you that for a single crypto project to exist, there is a lot of value chain. You need a designer. It's not Vitalik that will create design for Ethereum. If you ever had issues and you had to go online, to maybe, Binance, maybe when you are using your app or, you're using a platform and then you had an issue, the next thing you do is you go online, chat someone up on Twitter and they are responding. In many instances, for a full-blown brand, It is not a CEO or the project leader is responding to you. It is someone who has been hired to do such a thing. So oftentimes we have a lot of misconceptions in the Web3 space. People's idea or belief is that when you have to do anything in the Web3, you have to go out of anything you're doing in Web2 to come into anything into Web3. Personally, for me, I transitioned from Web2 marketing, doing things like Facebook ads. I was working with a couple of real estate companies before I transitioned into like full-time Web3 marketing, which was 5 years ago. Now, I still leverage many of those, the knowledge, the experiences, or things you do in the Web2. The major difference is that when you're working in Web3, there is one thing that differentiates Web3 and Web2, and that is the community and the ecosystem. In the Web2 space, we say good morning. In the Web3 space, if you're a social media manager and then you wake up and you're going to your Twitter handle and you're saying good morning, people will just be looking at you like, what's this? But when you say GM, that's it. People flow with it. So what am I saying in essence is it's not as difficult to transition from Web2 to Web3. But the main thing you should focus on when you want to do that is to learn about the Web3 culture. That's what I target as. It's the Web3 culture. I mean, in the Web3 space, you call yourself names. In the Web2, it's not like that. So these Web3 innovations, beyond just the tokens, beyond just the prices of things going on and all of that, has created so many job opportunities. In the space, I've met comedians before. I've met comedians, I've met OAP, who was here at the press conference yesterday. We had OAPs, we had comedians, and so many other persons who are working in the Web3 space. So it goes on to tell you, for just a single project, we need a designer, we need a content writer, we need a developer, what have you. And I think an amazing thing that I've discovered in the Web3 space is you can create a niche for yourself. In 2019 and, the likes, until, the trends of these NFTs, there wasn't anything like collab manager. But on Twitter, I just noticed the eruption. Everybody is now adding collab manager to their bio, and they're getting paid for it. So in the Web3 space, you can come out today and say, this is what you do in the Web3 space. And as long as it solves a problem and adds value to brands, you can get paid for it. So want to look at how can we make this happen? Now that you know that there are so many value chain that is behind all these Web3 projects, beyond just tokens and all of that, how do you make it happen? And here is one thing. Oftentimes, when you look at many of the Africans that are transitioning into the Web3 space, many of us are transitioning because we are looking for opportunities. So if your way of transitioning into the Web3 space is by buying tokens, you can get wrecked the next day and then you're thrown out of the Web3 ecosystem. But the way the job ecosystem works, you get paid for doing the same thing you do, you earn money, and then you can keep it. You can get paid in tokens or wherever it is. So let's follow the slide. I can't see. So remote and physical jobs related to the blockchain and crypto have emerged, spanning roles like comedians, influencers, content writers, digital marketers, graphics designers. Cryptocurrencies can be seen as solving real-world problems, requiring specific skills to tackle issues. Career possibilities include roles at crypto events like hosts, like MCs, which enhance your business prospects. So let me share something a little bit about these MCs and all of that. Now, when it was time for this particular event, when it was time to hire an MC, we had to look in within the Web3 community and look out for someone who is actually practicing in the Web2 space, but has a detailed idea about the Web3 ecosystem. And then we just had to look inward and be like, okay, I think this person can do it. So there has to be an anchor for this event. I will not be the one to do it. He or she is getting paid for the event. That is the job opportunities that we have in the blockchain space. So let's go. The pandemic has shifted the job landscape to remote work, offering flexibility in utilizing your skills. Now, taking advantage of your crypto career opportunities. Cryptocurrencies are real-time projects, necessitate professional for various. So if you go through this slide, the point of this slide is telling you that even the crypto projects that we have, they, in many instances, are not as abstract as you think they are. At a point in time, I worked for a crypto project, and what they all were about is about remittances. So signing up people, to use tokens for payment, and then we had to go on board merchants and things like that. So, in the reality, many of these crypto projects are solving real life problems. I mean, when you look at remittances, you can pick your phone and make transfer, cross-border payments in just less than a minute, and then the person who is receiving it gets it immediately. So next slide. I think this 40. Hello? All right. So now that you've discovered that you can easily find a job, there are job opportunities in the blockchain space. Let me try and engage from here also. Now, many of the crypto jobs focus on marketing and online visibility. The tax includes social media thing and all of that. Now, here's one thing I have discovered in the blockchain space. Change is constant in the blockchain space. And there was a year I was almost kicked out of the blockchain and crypto space. And what happened? Things were happening sporadically. And it was too difficult for me to catch up with. I was just like, there are things I'm used to. There are ways, we do things in the blockchain space. And it just felt like things were changing. Before now, there was nothing like CTNG. No disrespect, but there was nothing like CTNG. Then it used to just be like blockchain, communities and all of that. And then I noticed the influx of CTNGs. I noticed a lot of things like idolos and things like that. And I was just like, things are happening too fast. I don't want to, go in this way. And then I was just out of the system. And then until I decided like, okay, I think I have to learn some new things. I think I have to like inculcate some things and change. And then I was able to catch up. So here's the thing. When I first learned about blockchain job, that was in 2019. The way we were getting jobs then is so different from how you get jobs now. Then we had so many projects, it was at the start of the bull market. We had so many projects like Blue Zeo, News Crypto, so many amazing projects hiring ambassadors. So then they just take you as ambassadors, you go on your Twitter and you create content. And even then, I had no idea. So when I first got my first blockchain job with Dash Nigeria, I didn't even understand the meaning of blockchain. I I didn't understand the meaning of blockchain. What happened then is I was already a social media manager, and I learned from this Google Digital Marketing course. How many of us are aware of that? This Google Digital, that free course. That was what I did. I completed the course and all of that. And then I saw an opening to work with Dash Nigeria. I just applied for it. And then when I get asked questions about, what is blockchain, I just find my way to quickly learn about it and catch up with it. The only difficulty you would have if you're trying to transition into the blockchain space is if you are too rigid, if you cannot learn. Even all of us that are in the blockchain space right now, you notice there are some new trends that are always coming every day. There is refi, there is DeFi, there is CeFi. So many trends are coming out every day. And as someone working in the blockchain space, you must always understand these trends. So then it just used to be like, you find ambassador rules, and all these ambassador rules are still out there. On my Medium now, every time I follow some hashtags on Medium. So it turns out that every time I go to my Medium, I just see this ambassador, jobs. I consider them to be the low entry jobs. And here is why. It's easy to get a lot of experience with those jobs because all they require from you to do is market the project. They want you to create content for the project. Show them off on social media handle. So then all we needed to do is just like we create content online, post it online, we post some hashtags, and then at the end of the month, you submit all the links to the jobs that you created or to the content you created for them that month. Sometimes it could be designs. You create designs like infographics, you write articles on Medium, you create videos and put it on YouTube. That was it at the very beginning of my career, in the blockchain space in 2019. That used to be whole. But I think at the point in time, we started having, like, here in Africa, projects trying to expand to Africa because of, the community and people we have here. Sorry. So projects wanted to, like, expand to Africa. And then they started, coming in for African leads. So a project might be, from Europe, South America, or from other continents. But here in Africa, they need someone to, supervise whatever they are doing here in Africa. Oftentimes, they regard to them as BDs and all of those things, or, project lead in Africa. So I noticed that a trend came in like that, and then people were, moving in, onto that trend. And there is one thing that helped when I worked for some projects as African lead. I was able to leverage this, my experience of working as ambassadors. Because one of the things working as ambassadors when you're just starting your career will help you is it gives you learn some new things about communication. Communication in Web3 space is a lot different from how we communicate in the Web2 space. You learn the work ethics in the Web3 space because you're most times working remote. To improve your communication and all of that. So I always recommend like you go through the ambassador stage so that you learn basic things like content writing, how to create designs. You even get to understand the project or blockchain more. The moment you're working with 5 projects. I think at the point I had a friend, Barineka, who was working with about 20 projects, 2019. The ambassador projects were so many that, they just want you to contribute and all of that. And many instances, these ambassadorship jobs, don't have requirements that are difficult to beat. They are asking you honest questions. Why do you want to join our project? When you're filling ambassador forms, those are the questions you see. They're asking you, why do you want to join about, why do you want to contribute to our project? What do you know about our project? And all of those things like that. And there is one thing I would recommend if you're applying for ambassadorship jobs. Always be a part of community. When you're talking about crypto jobs, this is one thing that will help you a lot. The first time I got to work with Mr. Israel, who is the founder of Web3 Bridge, let me tell you a story of how I got into Web3 Bridge. So we're in a community that day, and then I happened to be one of the admins of the community. And then he came to ask me in DM, like, they need a social media manager. And I was just like, I can do it. And then that was how I got the job. He's probably hearing now and smiling. No interview, nothing of such, just community. And up till tomorrow, community helps in such a way that in many instances, you'll be oblivion of some job opportunities or trends that are happening out there. But when you're in a community, people can easily, tap you and say, these are the jobs. I remember we had a community then whereby almost everybody in the community had at least one blockchain job they are doing, working with a project and things like that. So when you're just starting your career in the Web3 space, this is one thing I advise. If you're just starting out and you're not so sure where to go, start as an ambassador. Another thing you can do is you can look out for blockchain projects and write to them. In many instances, you can say, hey, this is me. I'm trying to transition into the Web3 space. I don't have any idea. I don't have anything, but I would like to learn. This is one thing I have appreciated. This is one thing I've learned to appreciate in the Web3 space, and it's honesty. When people see you're being honest about where you are, what you want to do, and how you want to do it, people are ready to help you. So let me take it by the slide a little more. All right. So I think this is a bit. I think my slide is short. All right. So now there is a difference between when you're just starting as ambassador in the blockchain space, and there is a big difference between when you're trying to build a career. Here is a thing I always advise people. Before you come into the blockchain space, there is this thing we call value. And you don't just offer value when you don't even know who you are. Me as a person, I can relatively be very unstable. And when I mean unstable, you cannot keep me in a corner to be working for 4 or 6 hours. I need to stand, I need to walk around. And I realize that for me to be able to do anything that has to do with value, I need to understand myself. And there is this thing I call career profiling. Career profiling is you getting to understand yourself, like this is what you do, this is how you want to do it. Now, working in the blockchain space, you can do it for the money. But if you do it for the money, you're not going to last. And that's the point where we start talking about building a career. When I first started, I started first as an ambassador for projects and all of that. At a point in time, I transitioned into social media management. From a point in time, I transitioned into other things like email marketing and other things like community, because I had a roadmap of where I want to go. And if you don't have a career profile, you don't know how to grow. So here is the thing. You should ask yourself whether you still want to be in this thing for the next 5 years. This is my 5th year of doing marketing in the Web3 space. And I think until I want to quit anything digital and go maybe into investing as a VC in African projects in the future, this is what I have to continue to do. Because if you don't have something like this, you just do something today and tomorrow you're into another thing. And that's why in many instances you see people online today, you're doing collab management, tomorrow you're just moving into another thing again, or because you're just looking out for money. So if you're going to build a career in the Web3 space or in the blockchain space, you have to realize that whatever you do, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to go out of what you're currently doing. That is the amazing thing. There was a point in time, I know some of my team members are here, we were looking for an idea or something novel to build in the Web3 space. And we thought about making merchandise. Merchandise is not something virtual, yeah? It's something like more of like an artistic something to do. And it's because we had the experience. So we could think of such a thing like that because, we're in the Web3 community. We've seen the problem Web3 communities are always making merchandise. How about we start making official merchandise for companies and things like that? And we went into that. So it means you always don't have to go out of whatever you're doing in the Web2 space right now before you can transition into Web3. Some of us are already designers. Some of us are already social media content creators. Some of us are, email marketers and so many things like that. So here is the first point when you're trying to build a career in the Web3 space. Ensure you have value to deliver. It's not an instance of you're not so sure of what you can do, and then you promise so much, and then you cannot deliver. You're definitely going to have problems all along because The moment people cannot trust you, they cannot recommend you for others. Uh, Personally, for me, in my experience on building a career, in many instances, I no longer apply for jobs, and here's because I have built trust with previous people I have worked with. So in many instances, I just get recommended when I'm even out of a company. I just get someone just recommend and say, hey, this person recommended you. Can we talk? This is what that does for you. It's it helps you cut down some things, so many official processes, like having to go for interviews, submit these, competing with other people. So when you want to start building a career, there are a couple of things you have to do. The first one is be sure of the value you want to offer to people. If you're at a stage whereby you're still learning, please take your time and learn. There is nothing that beats learning. Be so sure of what you want to do, you can do it. Don't just start today. You just start today learning maybe how to code with Python, and then tomorrow your bow is Python developer. You should take it slow. And another thing that I think when you're building a career in the Web3 space that you should do is personal branding. I know many times all of us have heard of personal branding and things like that. I've worked with a couple of companies in the past whereby I've been opportune to hire for them. Maybe the CEO is busy, or whoever is in charge of that is just busy, and then they just feel like Michael can handle this. And here's one of the messages they leave me with when I'm going through applications, even for ambassadors, many times for ambassadors. They're not just so important. They're not so interested in what you claim you can do. The best thing we do is we go to your social media profile to go and see who you are. So the moment in many instances, when you're submitting a job application in Web3 space, you see companies and brand asking you for your Twitter handle, especially your LinkedIn handle. If you're a developer, they are asking you for your GitHub repo. They're not just asking you because they want to keep it. I always have clear messages like, go there, go and check. Because the moment I go through your Twitter handle, if you're a content creator, I should be able to see from your bio that you're a content creator, you're a Web3 content creator. I'm going through your profile and I cannot see anything Web3 related. And then you're asking to work in a Web3 company. It's difficult. So one of the things you can do while you're just starting out, or when you're done learning, if you're at a point in time whereby you're just transitioning into the Web3 space, here's what I think we can do. If today you made a decision to be a content creator, you can go online and put it there, like, hey, hi everyone. Today I made a decision to be a content creator. I'll be updating my journey here as as my this is my roadmap to learn. If you want that to be public, if you don't want it to be public, you can make it private. You can put it there. Hey, I'm going to be a content creator. I've decided to do this and that. Just put it there. Now, here's it. People can even trace your starts, the start of your career. We can see your growth journey because people are interested in it. One of the problems we have in the Web3 space is competency. People hire, and then at the end of the day, people cannot deliver. So the moment you put it there, you're just starting out. So you're not telling people to come and hire you. You're just creating it and telling people like, hey, this is what I've decided to do. Maybe when you attend events like this, you take pictures, you make some stories up about it, like, hey, I attended the Web3 Lagos conference. Don't just put that there. I'm talking about personal branding. What did you learn? What are the speakers you connected to? Just put it there. So that by the time you want to start applying for jobs and then you submit your profile, when we go there, we are going to see things like that. And it's to a certain extent, it gives us confidence like you're actually involved in the Web3 community. And here's another thing that I'll say when you're trying to build a career in the Web3 ecosystem is that find a community. If you cannot own a community, everybody cannot own a community. This is what I always tell people. I have my community, you have your community, shares our community. If all of us here have a community, then who else will be in the community? Who are the people who are learning in the community? Be a part of a community whereby you're actively contributing to let people know you for something in the community. Who Michael is the go-to guy when it comes to marketing. Blessing Emma is my friend. She's the go-to lady when it comes to DevRel and things like that. So that it's easier when there are opportunities for people to to remember that, oh, this is the person to talk to. So you cannot take away personal branding when you're trying to build a career in the Web3 space. And in many instances, they say it this way. They say build in public. So today you wrote a code, you contributed a code and things like that. Post it online, let people see it. Another thing that I'll say when you're trying to build a career, in the Web3 space is networking. Network with people. This is why you attend events. You just don't attend events, just to be at the events and all. But there are stages to these things, and there is why I didn't say network first. If you network with people, and then maybe you exchange contacts, you exchange LinkedIn details, And the next minute, I'm going out of this venue and then I'm checking you on LinkedIn and I cannot find something solid. That might be the end of the conversation because that's it. I can't really tell who you are. I'm going to connect with a lot of persons. There is nothing that helps me remember who you are. But the moment we exchange, maybe it's just our LinkedIn address. You connect with me on LinkedIn and I can just go to your LinkedIn. I can see your contributions. So something happened to me recently. I was in an interview with a project. Someone recommended me. So I didn't have to officially submit my CV. That's just me being practical. I mean, someone recommended me already. So I don't even need to submit my CV. And then it got to a point in time, they were asking me a question like, the question had to do with events. Like, are you familiar with organizing events, or setting up events in Africa or things like that? I knew if I said yes, it would be like, that is what it is expected for me to say. Like, I mean, can you do this? Me that I'm looking for a job or, because money is involved, you expect me to just say yes. Either I can do it or not. I didn't say yes directly. I just went to my LinkedIn. I remember about 2 or 3 weeks prior then, we hosted some events and all of that. And I made a story about those events. I talked about my experiences, organizing those events, the difficulties I faced and the challenges and what I think I should do next when I'm organizing an event. And then I copied the links. I just copied 2 of those links and then I pasted it for him. He was just excited and then, we were able to scale that process and all of it. If it's just an instance of me saying yes and then there is nothing to back it up, or probably I've organized an event in the past and I did not remember to go on my LinkedIn or my Twitter bio to write about it, it will be skeptical. And I'm just saying yes, because that's what they expect me to do. So take your branding serious, take your networking serious. So when you're networking with people, have something you talk to them about. And here's one thing in the Web3 space. When I was just starting out, I wanted to be everything. Although there is a place whereby, having a lot of experiences would help you. Now in the marketing space, it turns out that when I'm working at the brand as a social media manager, I know what I can tell the email marketing person to do. I know what I can tell the design guys to do. And what I can tell, people who are involved in the funnels to do. Why? Because, I've worked across board. But I'll tell you, there is nothing as best as taking an identity for yourself. So today, don't be the social media manager today, and tomorrow don't be another thing, and next tomorrow don't be another thing. It's why I talked about, social media profiling. Be sure that's what you want to do, because when you do that, people are even confused. They don't know what to address you as. So let me go to the last part of my slide. I found some content missing. Okay, so effective application strategies. Apply directly by showing the value you offer and you're addressing. So let me quickly share some practical examples. I noticed in the past, this is how we used to, look for jobs in the past. Are we all on Twitter or X? Are we all on Twitter on X? Yeah, awesome. So if you go to your Twitter right now and you just type hashtag crypto jobs, you're going to see a lot of crypto jobs. I'm not sure my screen, maybe the screen, maybe if someone can go to Twitter on the screen and just search that. You can see so many crypto jobs, even today. There are so many crypto jobs out there. I think IR Gig is one. We have, there was a point in time I was checking through and I realized that the same way we have freelancing platforms in the Web2 space, we have over 10 freelancing platforms in the Web3 space. One of them is Crypto Job List. And the striking thing for me is when you go across these platforms, the jobs you're seeing here is not the same. It's not like the jobs are being repeated on those platforms. The jobs are different. So it tells you like there is a big value chain. So many projects are always coming in every day. I mean, and at least a project is going to need someone from Africa. They are going to need a content creator and all of that. So if you go to Twitter now and you search for hashtag crypto jobs, if you're just trying to start as an ambassador, you can easily find so many jobs like that. Hashtag crypto jobs. Just scroll down. If you don't see the one that fits you, go to hashtag DeFi jobs. You're going to see so many. But I consider those, opportunities there as entry-level opportunities, because many times they're just like ambassadorship jobs and things like that. But when you're looking to like build a career, you want a job, a very, very, stable job, something like that. I use LinkedIn. I just put the preferences I want on LinkedIn and then I search. And this is another thing. When you're looking out for jobs, I think these strategies are changing. And that's why I said innovation. Before, it used to just be applying for jobs. If you try to send someone DM now, I'll tell you, there are over 100 people who are sending the DM. If you've seen a job hiring scenario on Twitter before, whereby someone just comes to Twitter and say, hey, I'm looking out for a community manager. I'm going to pay them $1,000. I tell you, there are about thousands of people ahead of you who had gone there to apply for the same job. So if you keep using that strategy, you might get burnt out easily, because today you apply, they are not even responding to your DMs due to the number of job applications they've received. Tomorrow you do the same thing again, and no one is responding to your DM. It's crazy. And here's one thing: as much as we have opportunities in the blockchain space, it does not mean that you will not see rejection. Oh, let me be honest with you, because this is one crazy thing I think people don't realize. They say there are so many jobs in the blockchain space. So today you apply and then you just expect to just get a job immediately, or if it does not work, you just go away. So expect rejections. I mean, there are better candidates, in many instances. So what you continue to do is, learn from the process and all of that. So ambassadorship jobs, if that's what you're looking out for, go to Twitter, hashtag Web3 jobs, hashtag crypto jobs, go to Medium. When you follow hashtags on Medium, hashtags like blockchain, hashtag like crypto jobs, you're going to see so many of them. I think the Web3 Bridge community also, after this event, will be posting a lot of jobs. So, but if you're trying to like build a career, you have to understand that it is not immediate. There are instances in your roadmap you have to design like this period is for me upskilling. This period is not to even work. There are instances like that you have to like go out of the job because you need to update yourself. You need to update your knowledge about jobs. So let me wrap up. All right. So recently I noticed there are new value chain in terms of jobs that are coming out, and maybe I can just speak about one or two about them. So now I noticed like projects beyond just hiring African ambassadors and things like that, they are also in charge of BDs. And now here is one thing I should prepare your mind for in the bear market. Getting a job in the bull market is as easy as anything. When it is the bull market, brands, companies, and a lot of those guys have so much money to spend on marketing. They just want to grow, they want to scale. When it comes to the bear market, they tend to be trimming down. And here's one of the things that will help you when you are in a bear market or when you're building a career. Be visible. There was this company I was working with, and then at that point in time, this will be the last thing I'll talk about. Something changed about me. I used to be this guy that when I'm working, I don't want to be confined to a certain schedule. When all of you are working in the morning, I might just pick up my laptop and pack all the things I needed to do in the morning and do it at midnight, and then just get it back to you. So then the HR was always checking in with me. I will not respond. So someone is messaging me from the team, I'm not responding. Another person is messaging me from the team, I'm not responding. I'm not responding is because personally I don't just want to respond. Maybe I'm busy doing another thing. But I'm doing the job. Like I'm doing it perfectly well. But my communication was so bad that the CEO just reached out to me and said, Michael, I know you're a good talent. I know you can do this. I know this is the deliverables, you can meet it. But this is your work habit has to change. And I was lucky because many of these CEOs will not have the time to call you back and say, Michael, this needs to change about you. It got to a point in time they started sending the HR, to come and check me at the point in time. So the HR can wake up by 11 and send me a message to see whether I would respond to the messages during those working hours. So I tell you, one of the things that would help you to build a career that is sustainable in the blockchain space is to constantly see the need to improve yourself. Don't just be about the job. Improve your communication. When you're working with people, be honest. I've had instances in the blockchain space whereby, I had a lot of marketing funds allocated to me. And then you just feel like, now money be this. So. But if you're not careful, people are auditing you. When I first worked with my first blockchain project, I didn't know there was a way you can track transactions online. I was working with Flashcoin then. So my work is to sign up people and give them some amount of tokens in their wallet. So I had those tokens with me. Yeah. I was oblivious to the fact that you can actually track transactions online. So if I had gone on to transfer some of those money to my wallet, that probably might be the end of me. So I didn't know. So it was just a day, we were having some conversations in the company, and I was ready to like transfer the account so that, for transparency thing. And they were like, they've always been checking that they know I'm transferring the. I was like, so there is a way to check. That was the first time I discovered like there is a way to check. So there are some, soft skills. Let me put it that way. Beyond your, you being a marketing person, there are some soft skills your temperament, the way you communicate with people. And nobody's going to come and tell you like this is how to do it. So those things, when you're building a career, you have to pay attention to it, and may God help you. Thank you so much.